Representation.
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 Representation. Representation.
Representation.
All right. Growing up seeing mostly whiteness on screen, I don't know. It was normal, but not, because it was just like, that's just what TV is. We were only like the stereotypes, and like the only thing we had that was representation, at least for me, was like the color purple or fruits. And it was just like stuff that was just like Black trauma. That's the only time you're gonna get a whole Black cast, or even a cast that has more than just the token. I go to school, and that's kind of what it was for my friend group. But the characters that I wanted to be, where I wanted to be Kimberly, the Pink Ranger. I wanted to be the popular girl in As Told by Ginger, instead of just the Black sidekick.
I didn't realize how much it affected me until I was older. I also grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, so just whiteness was everywhere, and I thought that there was something inherently wrong with me because I was different. Even being mixed race wasn't really a thing at the time growing up. Now, of course, we have great mixed race representation in media, but at the time it was me and my brother, and that was it. Now I, of course, appreciate who I am and my family and on both sides, but at the time it was a little difficult to consider myself beautiful or to consider myself even talented because I was different.
I grew up at the Renaissance Fair, which is also a primarily white space. And from an early age, I loved Shakespeare. I loved historical fiction. Those were all the books and movies that I was consuming, and I never, ever saw anyone that looked like me. If I did, it was like the help in the corner. It put a limit to what I thought was possible for myself and made me feel smaller.
Growing up as a brown-skinned Filipina who dreamed of being on screen as the love interest, the superhero, the teenage girl who single-handedly leads a revolution and takes down a fascist government, but only saw white women doing that, I thought that I would never be able to play those kinds of roles on screen because I never saw any brown-skinned Filipinas doing that. The first show I ever booked was 7 Brides for 7 Brothers when I was 11 years old, and I remember being in the dressing room attempting to lighten my skin with white powder because I truly believed that if I wanted to continue getting roles, I would have to be white.
It did make an impact on what I think I should see on screen and stage and television now. Some of the reasons why I wanted to do it was to bring that change as well. But I look back and watch shows now, and it was majority white people.
Because kids are so innocent, it didn't really register like on the surface, but I feel like it had a lot of subconscious effects. And it kind of, for me, I think that it started to make me gravitate towards like white Barbies and like white baby dolls and things like that. And my parents had to catch that early on and teach me that I was beautiful the way I looked, and that women of color are beautiful as well.
What is it like being a woman of color in the entertainment industry? It's weird. You don't get representation unless you do it yourself, pretty much. And like, I work at Universal Studios Hollywood, a theme park, and we don't have any black face characters. We will eventually when we get Elphaba, but we don't have any. She's not even black at that point. She's green. I'm the only black atmosphere character right now, other than like a few street sweeps. And those are people that dance. They come out, they do 8 minutes. So I'm the only black person that they see on the street for an extended period of time. If you're the right color, but not exactly what they're looking for, because they've gotten their mind made up for what a black person is, or what a Hispanic person is, or what an Asian person is, you're not going to get it.
It can be kind of gimmicky sometimes. Like, I feel like a lot of the opportunities that I end up getting or because there is some sort of program or some sort of like quota that needs to be met?
I met two of my best friends in the entire world, Lales and Leah, doing a show called American Girl Live based on the American Girl dolls. And we met because a white creative team literally checked off ethnic boxes, and we became friends because we bonded over being the token ethnics of American Girl Live. The rest of the cast was white, because you could never have too many white girls, but more than one Asian girl, more than one black girl, more than one Latina, well, that's just too much.
I hear a lot of coaches and teachers and agents telling me, oh, you're so lucky that you've got that ethnic look. That's all anyone wants. But I look around at the community that I'm in and, who do I see getting signed? Who do I see, being able to join the union, getting the majority of auditions is my white friends. And there's been studies too. And when you look at the numbers, the only overrepresented group is white people. But there's just this phenomenon where people don't see whiteness. And so if you've got one show or one character that's diverse, it's like, whoa, I think we're like doing too much. We've gone too far. I have my white friends saying that, oh, I think we've done enough diversity, equity, inclusion.
They tell us in this industry that our races and our diversity is needed in different projects, but then I get angry because then I see things where it's just like they're just all white again. So and then I'll see projects where we will have a whole cast of people of color, but then it gets canceled.
I find that the less I think about it, the less it bothers me. So instead of walking into a room and thinking, oh no, I'm the only black girl here, oh no, like, are they gonna think this, that, or the other about me? I just am myself. And if they have these preconceived notions of me because of my race or because of how I speak or because of how my hair looks that day, I don't want to be a part of that project anyway. So it doesn't actually matter to me at all.
True representation is just casting people in stuff that you wouldn't stereotypically see them in. We should also just legitimately be allowed to be crazy or scary or the princess and not just the sassy best friend or the when you watch a Hallmark Christmas movie, I shouldn't just be the friend that's helping my white friend find love because she works too hard. Representation should be me not having to go out of my way to make a movie called The Blackening just so the black people live through the end of the horror movie.
I want the world to see women of color as multidimensional human beings with emotions, because that's who we are in the real world. We fall in love too. We have mental breakdowns too.
It's not enough to put a person of color on the stage, but if the whole team is white, they're not going to fully understand the complexities of the cultural story they're telling. There's been so many times where, I see microaggressions or stereotypes being played up. And if the director or the writer is white and they're telling, for example, a black woman's story, they don't realize that they might be, amplifying an angry black woman's stereotype in the way that they're directing it. And so I really fully feel like true representation is on stage, on screen, and behind the scenes.
True representation to me shows that no matter what demographic you fall under, you are flawed, you are imperfect, you can fuck up, but also we are all inherently just people, and we can move forward despite or perhaps in spite of the barriers that are put in our way by society. So to me, it doesn't always look like being the perfectly good black girl in the room. It's like, no, I mess up, I'm messy, I forget things, I'm a human being.
We are human beings and people and live our lives just like white folk. True representation looks like having an all-Asian family sitcom that everyone can relate to.
I have two dreams. My first dream is to be a Grammy Award winning recording artist, and I want to accept my award on the main stage on live television. And I want to play a Disney princess in a movie. I would love for it to be Cinderella, but just any Disney princess would be cool with me.
I would just love to be on Broadway. I would love to be on Broadway in any capacity, whether that's a straight play or a musical, of course, or like a play with music. I love that kind of thing. Alise is an obvious answer for me, or Angelica. I'm a big sister energy, so maybe Angelica would be a little better for me. And then so random, but when I'm older, like I would love to play Hermione if Cursed Child is still running, because they made her black. Broadway, and it made people mad, and I loved it. Anything Shakespeare. I haven't done Shakespeare besides in class, and I just love the prose. So anything Shakespeare, and that doesn't have to be on Broadway. That can be in a park somewhere. I would be more than happy to do that.
On screen, I would love to be the action like princess in a live action princess movie where I get to do a lot of action though. I love fight choreography. Even one of the new Marvel superheroes or something that has some comedy and fun to it, but also a badass. I've always on stage wanted to play Eurydice in Hadestown.
First of all, I would say Storm in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, first of all. However, because representation matters, I would prefer if that role goes to a darker skinned black woman. But if for some reason all of them say no, I'll take it. Children of Blood and Bone is already being made, but there's 2 more books, and I would love to be in one of those. I told Tommy that, so we'll see. There's a series of books called Dread Nation. It's zombies in the Civil War, and I would love to literally be anybody in those movies. Not gonna lie, I would love to be George Washington or Aaron Burr in Hamilton. Or Hamilton in Hamilton.
I don't give a shit if Violet Sorrengail was written as a white woman. I want to be Violet Sorrengail in Fourth Wing. I want to be a dragon riding, lightning wielding bad bitch. On stage, I want Zoe Murphy in Dear Evan Hansen, Eurydice in Hadestown, Dawn in Waitress, Anastasia in Anastasia, and Cinderella in Cinderella.
On stage, ever since I was a kid, one of my dream roles is to play Rizzo in Grease, the witch in Into the Woods. I love to play Eliza in Hamilton, Catherine of Aragon in Six. On screen, I really want to be in a sitcom, the Brown version of Friends, something like that. Just like, how about all these American bitches that put us in a TV show together? A historical fiction or fantasy. I want to ride some dragons too.
Hey, let's ride dragons together, bitch! Yes!
Yeah. We need representation because there are so many different versions of beautiful humans on the earth. And everyone deserves to see themselves in a positive light so that they can be influenced to do positive things.
Stories are more interesting when they come from diverse perspectives.
You would end up with way more confident children who turn into confident adults.
It's simple as that. It's just respecting each other and understanding one another.
It builds empathy. That's the whole point of storytelling.